Oftentimes I have clients who are asked by the officer, have you been drinking? And they think it's better off to say, yes, I've drank, but it was only 1 beer or only 2 beers. That is an absolute mistake. Anytime an officer asks you if you've been drinking before driving, your answer should be that you will not speak to the officer, that you have a Fifth Amendment right not to speak to them and to not talk. Once you admit to having any alcohol before driving, that gives the officer probable cause to ask you to come out of your car to perform field sobriety tests, to take a breathalyzer on the scene, and later to take one at the station. Do not give an officer probable cause to continue on a DUI investigation. When you are pulled over for a DUI, you absolutely should exercise your Fifth Amendment right to keep your mouth shut. You are your biggest enemy in a DUI investigation and should not speak to the officer. However, you should give basic information, your name, your license, where you live. But after that, the easiest answer is to all questions is, I will not speak to you without an attorney present. Once the officer has enough probable cause, he can ask you to come out of your car and perform some field sobriety tests. The point of these field sobriety tests is to prove your guilt, to prove that you are under the influence. The officer is not doing this to tell you, hey, you're just fine. Go ahead, get back in your car and drive away. The officer is using everything here in a field sobriety test against you. Also, police oftentimes use poetic liberty in describing how you performed these tests and will say things that just aren't true. I advise all my clients to respectfully decline to perform any field sobriety tests, as there is no upside and only downside to them. One of the biggest problems that people have when they're pulled over for a DUI is they want to volunteer information or volunteer to do things to prove their innocence. That is an absolute mistake. So for example, my client declined to do the field sobriety test, but then offered to the officer to do his portable breathalyzer test there on the scene. That is an absolute mistake. Again, exercise your Fifth Amendment right. Do not speak. Do not talk. Do not hurt yourself. Don't volunteer anything other than your name, your address, and be cooperative enough in other ways, but don't hurt yourself. A common misconception that people have is that they can be argumentative or rude to a police officer in a DUI and that will help them. In actuality, most times that can be used against you in multiple ways, but it can also be to show that you are indeed under the influence. But I can tell you personally as an attorney, I've had cases where I would have gotten fantastic results for my client, but for the fact that the district attorney saw that my client was essentially a jerk and said, I'm not offering anything to this guy. He was just such a jerk here, and really tied my hands on our ability to negotiate a very favorable outcome on his DUI. If you found this video helpful or have any questions, call Earl Carter and Associates and we can help you with whatever you need.